I was asking you the question, but as someone within the market yourself, will this achieve part of the aim, which is to force prices? I think we've lost him again, so let's stay here in the studio. Dr. Mahama, what do you say?
Yeah, thank you very much, Council, and then good morning to my colleague, Dr. Teo, and then good morning to your cherished viewers and listeners. Council, the issue about the Agriculture Ministry bringing food from the rural areas to Accra is fundamental to address an issue. The issue is that there's market failure. The assessment of government is that there is some discrepancies between the supply and then the demand, and that the cost match, the transfer of cost from the seller to the buyer, that is not proportionate to the import cost, as been noted by my colleague Dr. Teo. And now, how to address it? Government will have to come in, because the business of government, if you're operating a liberalized system or liberalized market, the business of government is sometimes to correct market inefficiency, to correct the failure of the market. So the intervention by the ministry is purely to correct a terminal problem. And I am terming a terminal problem because we don't expect that, because 3 years ago, we were not having the Ministry of Agriculture having to force itself into the business of bringing foodstuff into the market center for people to buy. We are asking why. Look, your previous speakers just
at the ministry, though, there's a small market there. I think you can get a few, local stuff there at relatively very good prices. Yeah.
Yeah. So you see, the core mandate of the ministry is not to be trading stock. It's not to be trading foodstuff. That is well established. But they are just coming into this particular stopgap measure to address a problem. We listen to your, speakers say that this is the harvest season. Hypothetically, in the harvest season, prices of food stock is supposed to be lower. But this is the case that you said the pace right. Food inflation has gone to over 40%. And specifically to 43.7%, as you alluded, and from the data from the Ghana Statistical Service. So it means that there is a problem. Of course, one of the drivers is the fuel price. And we all admit that it feeds into the billing of the farmers or the sellers. But that gap has to be addressed. So people talk about the sustainability of that measure. I don't think the government wants to take the supply of food as part of the mandate of the Agricultural Ministry. Government is just doing this for the meantime, whilst we work to ensure that we have some stability in the fuel market. Government works to ensure that, look, this measure, no doubt, will bring down the prices of goods, because in the market currently, there seems to be some information asymmetry. Because you listen to some people, they say that, look, this is far better than what I used to buy in the market. Another person will say that there's no difference from the market. It means that depending on the market the person buys from, prices are bound to be different. So people somehow, with magnanimity.
But isn't that the case because they are sourcing these products from different places? The prices.
They source them from different places. But if a rational consumer knows that I'll get best price at this particular market, the person will go there. And the business of government is to maximize the welfare.
How many Ghanaians can actually walk up and go to Ministry of Agriculture and queue and go get those?
I'm not even talking about specifically to the Ministry of Agriculture. I'm just taking that in the open market. Okay, in the open market, if I know that prices at Abuso are far lower than prices at Tema or prices at Aguguleshi,
I'm hearing Dr. Theo Champon talking about the policy intentions, whether you can achieve them. Because if you are bringing in Accra, you are bringing it to the ministry. If I'm moving from, say, Kasua and elsewhere, I'll definitely not want to get a vehicle and come all that way, because that will cost me a lot.
Council, the issue...
Maybe before you come in, just a quick one. When we started, there were two things. You want to address availability, and you want to address affordability. Okay, you might get the availability bit because we've seen all the pictures. Would this really be substantive enough to correct the market failure that you're talking about, such that you drive down prices? Ultimately, I doubt that will be the case, because the key factor of transportation and those input costs are still there. and the government cannot really buy enough, let's say, plantains to bring down, that ultimately will bring down the cost.
Yeah. From the release, the target is civil service and local government workers. So at least if you are able to cater for their needs, you would have made some progress.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, Council, you've just said it rightly, because any policy intention is to target some group of people. If you cannot solve all, you don't leave all. Okay, government taking a decision to target civil and public service workers and then setting up the market at the ministry clearly tells you that, look, this is a market targeting a certain category of people. Other than that, they would have set the market at the Agurushi or anywhere else. People talk about, look, if you go to Insawam, the cost, the bunch of plantain is far lesser than if you come to Accra. Kaswa, if you go to Ekropo, people at Medina, their prices are far lesser than those who are in Accra. So it doesn't even make sense for you to move away from Tema, coming to Accra, saying that you want to buy a bunch of plantain, and then you are factoring in your transportation costs into it. It will not make sense. So it is meant for people who will ordinarily come to work. This cost incurred anyway. Whether you buy or you don't buy, that cost is already incurred. So that intervention is meant for them. So we shouldn't be introducing the factor of transportation, someone moving for them and factor into that. That would defeat the whole essence of that policy. Then we talk about...
So clearly, there is no intention centrally to achieve driving down prices in the markets.
There's that intention. There's that
because
intention
if the impact,
yeah.
If the impact will be on just this handful of people within the ministries, then...
So let me explain how it's going to drive down. For instance, sales in the market is going to reduce because there's going to be a shift of traffic. No matter the numbers, we can talk of the number, whether 1%, 10%, 2%, whatever the numbers are, we are not privy to the numbers, right? But sales will definitely come down in the open market. When sales are coming down, the rational seller will have to reduce prices in order to up the sales. Okay. So in either way, we don't have the numbers, and we're all conjecturing the possible scenarios in this regard. That conjecture is good. We can ask questions as to what extent can this go to reducing prices. We can ask questions, can this be sustainable? I've discarded the notion about government instituting market for the sales of product. That one is out, and no government should be interested in doing that. But if you are correcting a market problem, if you are correcting a terminal problem, if you are correcting a problem that is not, you expect that in the near future, it is going to stabilize. And let's note that government is not just doing this alone. There are a basket of measures being taken by the government, including measures to stabilize the fuel market.
We'll go to the fuel soon, but you see what Dr. Theo Champon speaks about, I hear it ring through my other guests, and it almost sounds as if we, as a country, we are asking the government to make an intervention on food inflation, and the first people that the government thinks of is the government itself. You know, how do you achieve a policy effect substantially with that kind of approach? I think that's what you're seeking to get at, if I understand you well.
No, absolutely, because, I mean, even the attempt to help the public services, right? The question is, how big are they compared to the overall population in the country? Number two, if we take my good brother's argument that prices may come down, however small it is, what sort of analysis actually underpins that? Because we're here debating policy and we don't have any strong numbers to back any of these things, when we actually know that the market makers, because of petrol, diesel, whatever you call it, are adding, and their markup, because they also have to make a profit.
Right.
Yeah. So even if we take catered for the people at the ministries, and some people came and even used, let's say, 2% market shift, for argument's sake, would that be enough to really make a big dent in driving down prices? I strongly doubt that that would be the case.
Okay. So we will go to the questioning of the fuel.
Yeah, but just
yes.
Just
quickly.
a quick one. I just want to note that, I mean, the minister, the deputy minister mentioned that this is not just going to be an Accra intervention or pilot.
That's the hope.
Across the major city, they would do that. And we know that the problem is actually at the cities.
That's right.
So if we're able to solve a bit of the problem in the cities, somehow it can ameliorate the suffering of the people.
I think that across the board, everybody agrees to that.